Calling all authors, the Your Book, Your Voice podcast with host Robert A. Lane features everything you need to know about narrating your audiobook, but it doesn't stop there. We have special guests lined up from all aspects of the book publishing industry, and we also dive deep into what it takes to be mentally prepared for success as an author and in life. So please welcome your host, Robert A. Lane.
Hey, my friends, welcome to the Book Your Voice podcast. I'm your host, Robert A. Lane. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your first time. Welcome. Just a quick overview about who I am and what I do. I am an audiobook producer, and I specialize in helping nonfiction authors. Maybe you're a nonfiction and you have a great book that's published. That's awesome. But I will help you turn your book into audiobook that you, as the author, narrate, because there's nobody on this planet, nobody in the universe that can replicate you. Only can tell your story that it is meant to be heard. So I have an audio coaching program, take you through the process of setting up your own recording space, teaching fine art of how to be compelling and doing great audiobook narration. I think you published on Audible, Amazon, Apple, and all the other distant platforms that you need to be published. That's what I do, an audiobook coach and producer. And on this podcast, we also bring in special guests like professionals from the book industry, other authors as well. And all our guests are pretty awesome. And believe me, tonight is no exception. We have fantastic guests that I'm super excited to bring onto the show. This is Dr. Loren Michaels Harris. Dr. Loren is a purpose discovery coach. I love that title. I'll talk about that a little more in detail. Dr. Loren is also a speaker. He's done some speaking engagements all over the country, and I believe all over the world. He's also an author and syndicated TV host as well. There are so many things that I want to talk to Dr. Loren about the podcast. We'll try to as many as we possibly can, but let's welcome Dr. Loren Michaels Harris to the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. How are you?
Doing good, doing well. Purpose discovery coach. You know, you're the only coach that I know that has that title, and I love it because it's discovering your purpose. How did you come up with that?
Well, great way to start. Actually, that's the beautiful thing about navigating within purpose. You never have to come up with anything. You don't. It comes through you on its way to the world. And as far as your content goes, you never have to come up with anything because you can find it. Within your purpose, you can find the greatest content every day in the life you're currently living, or at outside of today, the closest thing to it, the day you've most recently lived, yesterday. So that's the wonderful thing about purpose. It makes it easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Love it.
True.
Love it.
So I can't take the credit for it. I'll put it that way. But I can
okay.
explain what it is if you want.
Yeah, why don't you? I'd love to get your insight on that whole concept.
Let me just get the elephant out of the room first, because
right.
I know this is like, well, Dr. Loren's so clear. He almost sounds like Denzel. I'm kidding. I know and nothing in the world can make me sound that good. But they hear the thing going on with your side. There's some techno stuff going on, y'all. And if you are prone to voice-triggered seizures, you might want to wait to listen to this. I'm just kidding. Because blinking lights. Right. I was coming up with that for a minute. But I'll just kind of carry it and do my best to fill in the spots for us here. But you guys, listen. This is on purpose, too. Even things like that, like the technical difficulties, that's just something that, it doesn't stop us. We get it done no matter what. It's all going to work out in the end. So let's get to it. Purpose. A lot of people, I purposely ask people, I love doing it. I say, I don't come right out. I've learned to not just say, so what's your purpose? People are like, hey, wait a minute, dude, back off. Hey, well, I don't know you like that kind of thing. Almost like you're talking about their mamas or something, right? So I kind of cloak it by saying, so tell me, we'll call her Emily. Emily, what is it you get to do every day that allows you to ease suffering somewhere in the world, because that's what your purpose does. It does. Your purpose gets you to the place where you can heal people through your stories. Purpose gets you to the place where everything that hurt you now makes sense. So again, you can heal people through your stories. So basically, purpose allows you to bottle from the poison, whether it was the poison of betrayal, the poison of hurt, the poison of loss, grief, whatever that trauma was. It allows you, if you choose, to find something good to do with that poison. And the only thing I've ever seen that works is to extract the poison and use it to create the antidote, which you then offer to others who were stung or bitten by that same poison. So that's what I love about purpose. So a purpose discovery coach for me means that I just help people read the messages, read the messages, read the clues, put the puzzle pieces together, follow the breadcrumbs, retrace their steps, be remembered to certain things in their lives, whatever it takes to get to there in the beginning or there once upon a time. Because your purpose started the moment you got here. And even in some cases, before you even get here, meaning birth. It has already begun.
Yeah. Well, your purpose is what you do is fantastic. And I wanted to just step back and get a little bit of history. So, where were you originally from, and what was it like growing up as a kid for you?
Well, before I transported myself here from the planet, I'm kidding. I was going to come. It's evening. Plus, here's a full disclosure. I am doing a metabolic balance transformation, which means I've been in strict conversion, they call it, for the last 14 days. So this is my first little sip of wine that I have had in 2 weeks. Boy, I feel 17 again. Let's go for a wheeling. Anyway, I'm kidding. What was the question again? You want to know where it all began?
Yes, sir.
Oh boy. Well, it started let's put it this way. It didn't start as Loren. For the first 11 years of my life, I was Larry. My name was Larry, and my name was Larry Dixon, Dixon. And I had been with that family since pretty well all my life that I remembered, but it was actually a day or two after I was born. The nurse in the hospital where I was had fallen in love with me, I think, had convinced my mother, let me help you. You're freshly divorced. You have 4 children at home and now a newborn. You're a single woman. You have an 8th grade education, and you're looking for a job, and you're living in the projects, and you want a job, you don't want welfare, and you want to get out of the project. Why don't you let me take your baby for a month or 2 or 3 and get on your feet and then bring him back? And my mother said she turned her down and took me home, but then she contracted pneumonia 2 or 3 days after we got there. And when the ambulance came to take her, of course, they took me with her because I was a newborn. And then when we went back, of course, my second mom, the nurse, Ada, she convinced my mom, see, now look what's happened. So my mom said, Loren, back then, 1962, I was a single black woman, nothing really to work with. I had the other kids. And this was a woman who was a Christian, and she was a nurse. She was smart, and I trusted her. So I said, yeah, okay, let's do it. And then my mom got on her feet. She got that job because I met my real mom when I was 32. And so she was retiring after 32 years. So the timeline worked. The house she lived in, she had bought it after 9 years of renting and purchased it on a land contract. And she had been in that house 32 years. So again, the timeline fit. And she said a month and a half, I think she said 6 weeks, 7 weeks had gone by and everything was in place. And so I called and I asked if I could come get you, or could she bring you to me? And she said, oh, can I have another week? We want to take him to church, let everybody say goodbye to him and all that sort of thing. So she said, I felt I owed her. So I said, okay. And then a month turned into 2 months. And 2 months turned into 3 months. And finally, she said, I paid a woman from my church, because they live 25 miles apart. She says, I paid her $25. And she said, and she drove me there and they were gone, disappeared.
Mm.
So, in long story short, my mother didn't see me again until I was 32 years old. And I found her. And
Wow.
so that's how it all began. That's how it all began. And then the woman who had me fell dead from a stroke, and that's when the gig was up and the truth about who I really was came out. And it wasn't long. A few days later, a court-ordered person showed up and said, your name is not Larry Dixon. Your name is Loren Harris. And here's a trash bag. You got 20 minutes. Get packed. You're coming with me. And that was that.
So what's really amazing with story, Dr. Loren, is you've come from an experience that maybe for people be a very negative experience for them. But what's beautiful about what you've been able to do with that is what I see is you find the beauty, you find the positivity in a situation. It seems because to be able to do what you do now, was there a pivotal moment for you that was okay? This is I my purpose in life is to help others. Was there a situation that was just like where it just clicked and said, I know what to do?
Sure. Yeah, there was a thing that a moment when it happened, and it was like, okay, I know what to do with all this. It only took 45 years to get to it, pretty much, completely. It really, in the 40 years. No, it really did. It took a lifetime to get to that point, because as much as I wish I could go and say, well, you see, oh, it was a piece of cake. Oh man, I could do it standing on my head again. No, two things are going on here. There's no way I would wish this upon my worst enemy. However, I would also not change one moment of what I have had to live in my 62 years. I would not trade it for the world. As a matter of fact, I've actually said to the Creator on more than one occasion, I am so honored and happy and pleased with the world that I get to work within and the work that I get to do within the world. I'm so excited and it's so wonderful to me today that if I knew that I could get a contract with you to insure me an extra 5 minutes on the back end of this life, this journey, I would consider living everything I've lived over 50 more times just for another 5 minutes of what I got from it. And a lot of people go, yeah, right. But I'm telling you, it was and still is that worth it. I wouldn't change a thing. Every single thing that I lived, every single person that I have had to live with and around, and all the things from being homeless to 22 homes in foster care and everything in between. Every single one of those people, including all 22 of my mothers, every single one of them, every abuser, every one of them, they were chosen to play a specific role in my journey. And I am so excited about where I'm at in the work I get to do today that I honor and I am grateful to every single person who contributed to getting me here. Because without them, I couldn't have.
I
So
agree.
you
Yeah.
see what I'm saying, Robert? I mean, how
Yeah.
bad it sounds awful when you really look at it in retrospect, but how can it? I remember when I was in Las Vegas and I was doing the Star Trek convention, and all those people were there. You've seen that picture, and they were. I came out and they had shown the Goldcast video, and the people were. You could hear some people going. You can even hear it in the Goldcast video. Women crying out in the audience. Oh, just ooh, just a painful wail. And I came out and I pointed and I was like, shh, to the audience, stop. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I know it sounds horrible, but really think about it. How bad could it have been when it was responsible for creating this divine moment that together we are sharing right here, right now? I wouldn't be here for you to see, and you wouldn't be there for me to see if it hadn't been the way it was. So, how bad was it? Let's find out why it felt that bad then, because we're here now. Let's find out why it was so important that it took all that to get us here.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. All right, you are tuned to the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. We got to take a quick break. My very, very special guest, Dr. Loren Michaels Harris. We have a lot to talk about. I want to talk about your coaching and all the other great programs that you've put together. We're going to get to that in just a bit. If you want to join us, please. If you have a question for Loren, you can comment in the comment section. Give us a call at 866-451-1151. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. We're streaming live on the Bold TV network. We'll be right back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
All right, welcome back to the Your Book, Your Voice cast. Again, a pause for the key audio. Hopefully, you are able to hear what I'm saying clearly. I do have to work on my rap moves because Dr. Loren suggested that maybe that would help a bit. But again, welcome. Our very special guest is Dr. Loren Michaels Harris. And Dr. Loren, you have some really great things that you offer people, and I just want to go some of them and just have you just explain what they're about and what you do with these programs. There's Slam the Hammer Mastermind. There's the LMH Coaching All-Stars. There's the Power of We Symposium. There's also the Elevate Masterclass. All these great things. Pick one. Let's get there.
Well, it's interesting because if I were to pick one, I would pick the entire wheel. These are all spokes in the same wheel, but just different places or different ways, rather, for people to get what they need. I believe, because I know what is greater than myself, that wonderful thing that kept me vested, that kept me from giving up. And also, well, not to say, I got to be honest. Yes, I had my 6 suicide attempts over my 4-decade run. But still, clearly I wasn't good at that. Thank goodness, right? But I've always wanted places. I am a believer in places. What I mean by that, it is always, since I was a little kid, and this thing happened that we were talking about in the last segment. When I entered the system, I heard a voice from beyond say to me, treat this like those books you read, the Hardy Boys. Turn this into an adventure. Life is an adventure. I know today, as a 62-year-old man, that the moment I entered the system, the moment that trauma touched me, that was literally the finger of what is greater than me, literally marking me for greatness. And I tell that to people every day that, that's what it is. Anything that you've ever lived through that is in the form of trauma. I was just talking to one of my producers. We have something coming out on LinkedIn tomorrow, and it's a video, and it's about I love myself some trauma. And he goes, we're going to run with the video you sent. It's because it's a little controversial, and that always gets great engagement. And it is I love me some trauma. Why? Because it literally is the moment that you are chosen and marked for greatness. And so these facets, these places, the Mindset Revolution, which is a membership site, the LMH Coaching Rockstars, which is a name, and it is a community of people who are in agreement to stand beside each other. There are 149 of you. You're one of them. And none of them are above or below, including me. None are in front or behind, including me. All 149 of them and myself, 150 of us in total, we stand together on the principles that we believe we were sent here to use in order to leave a message that will live long after we are gone. I have been so blessed to be able to work with person after person after person on all different levels. Some who show up and they know from A to Z everything about their message. They understand their journey. They just need a little tweaking or a little coddling from time to time, a little accountability from time to time. And then you have people who don't even know. They just know that something is pulling at them. Something is nudging them. And so what I love about all these places, Slam the Hammer is a free mastermind. The Power of We is a thing for kids and they don't pay a penny. It's free of charge. Mindset Revolution, it's a membership site, but the very first thing that is offered is a free membership. The rock stars, even my coaching, it's one price, but people pay for life. Because once you can get that price tag out of the way, off the table, now the situation, the experience, it is priceless because it is less the price. And now it's all about the value. And that drives trajectory. Because see, when people go back into the things they've already lived and they've experienced, and they say, boy, I sure paid a price for that. Well, that is because it is leading you into a life that is valuable. It is leading you into a message that the world will find valuable. You see what I'm saying? So value has always stood out to me, to lead with it. And I love places because I learned as a young boy when the first night that there was an abuser in my life. I'm not kidding you. You've heard this story. A lot of you, if you listen to the replay or you're live and you know my story, I tell how I watched this predator come through a hole he had in the wall. And the kids in the room had told me that he would come because he did it every time there was a new one. And but I didn't remember any of it because I know that I had what I refer to as my angels, 2 of them, and I believe they're in this room with me right now. They took me somewhere, and I don't remember anything. I had proof the next day that something had happened, but I didn't have any memory. It didn't fracture my spirit. It didn't bring on what they used to call back then nervous breakdown or that sort of a thing. It didn't fracture my psyche. And I remember when I literally, it felt like we landed, boom, like a bump, a gentle thud, boom. And I said, where are we? And I heard, you are in a place. It is called faith. It is with you every time you need it. Remember this place. You will call on it many times in your journey. A lot of people spend their journeys looking for faith. Christians, it is the only thing they say they cannot pray for. Or because if you pray for it and God gives it to you, it's not faith. But faith isn't a thing. All the things that matter the most in this world that you cannot touch, joy, comfort, compassion, faith, none of those are things. That's why you can't touch them. They're symbols. But the thing itself, you cannot touch it because it is not a thing. It is a place. Courage is a place. It is with you and there for you when you need it. And so that's why I've always ascribed to places. Anything that I want to beckon people to, then I name it. Because the things that serve us in this world all have names. It's those things that go unnamed in our lives that do not serve us. That's why we can't catch them. That's why we keep going back to them. Because here's the example I use. Hi, Connie, how you doing? Horrible. Why? Because what? I don't know. What's wrong? Everything. What's everything? My job. What about your job? Those people. When if she really wanted to get to the bottom of it, she should have just said, it's Ruth. That piece of you know what in HR. I can't stand that wretched. I can't stand her. And in my job at B&L Plastics out on Benson Road. Now I can say, well, let's get in the car. Let's go talk to her. Because now we can get there. We get there. Where is she? Upstairs, take the elevator, get off, go on the right. She's the last door on the left. You can go and you can say, so what's going on? How can we fix this? You can find it because it has names. But when you don't have names, it's just everything's wrong, whatever. No, those are things that do not serve you. So that is why I name everything, and I love to put value. I love roads because, there are many times. I remember back when I was suicidal. I remember back when I was dealing with severe depression, couldn't get out of bed, would sleep in a fetal position inside of a walk-in closet on the floor for days at a time because I was that depressed. I didn't want sunlight. I didn't want food. I didn't take showers. I couldn't do anything. It was difficult just to breathe. But the thing about it, excuse me, is in those darkest times, which I will never forget, and I hope I never forget. I don't want to forget them. In those lowest times, it was the knowing that there are places, that faith was a place. And when I decided I wanted it, it was there. And it is how I got out. It is how I stood up. It is how I stayed up. And it is how I walked out. And so that's why it's very important to me. The only way to not forget it, to not lose it, is to use it. And I use it by giving it to others. And that's that.
And it's true. You are a very giving person. I've been through several coaching programs, and there have only been maybe 2 coaches that actually offered true value for what I was seeking.
Yeah.
And you are my coach when it comes to speaking, because I again, and I say this to a lot of people, is don't be afraid to ask for help. There are people out there who can do things better than you. That's going to make you a better person. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Invest in yourself, invest in business, and invest in your brand, invest in whatever you do. So I invested in Dr. Loren Michaels Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first sessions, what did Dr. do? He sent me a client. Mark Haddis. And Mark signed up, took him through my audiobook coaching program. And it was a great experience for me to have him as a client. And it was a great experience to have his audiobook done right the first time. But that's
Finally.
what I'm talking about.
Right.
But that's what I'm talking about your giving nature. No other coach that I've ever worked with done that. And that's what I love about who you are as a human being, is that you're giving. And then that is something that this needs so more of.
Well, I appreciate it, Robert. I really appreciate it, and I thank you for saying that. I receive it. But I want to say this too. People like you make it easy. People like my clients make it easy because, it's like when they know, this is the 3rd time today I get to say this, and I love this. I love this. This is powerful. Get ready, you guys. If you have something to write with, write this down. I don't care what it is you're doing in this world, what your product or service is. But the four most important words you can master soliciting from the people you serve, the four words are the following: I can see that. When you can explain what it is you do, how you heal, what pain you fix, and a person hears you say it, and the minute you paint that picture, they say, ooh, I can see that. Or you run an idea that you're proposing to do, and they go, wow, I can so see you doing that. It is because you have taken everything that you have lived, unwittingly in most cases, and you've poured it into whatever beaker or container you're using, and you shake it up. It is a spiritual thing. And then you throw it inside their world on a wall. And the spirit of your intention allows that paint, if you will, to just drip down the wall and create the picture that makes them say, oh, wow, Robert, I can see that. And when you explain to me that very first day what it is you do and your why, I said, well, boy, I can see that. And the moment I could see it, I remember hearing my friend Mark bitching and complaining not a week ago at the Sparrow's Coffee, saying, I cannot believe I spent all that money. It took all those months, and all of the three A's, Apple, Audible, and Amazon, all rejected my audiobook. Now I don't know what I'm going to do. And then here you came. And the minute you said it and you meant it, because see, you could have said anything, and if it had 0 calorie meaning, it would have went in one ear and out the other. But the moment you said it, it's why I keep this bell, the bell of purpose, on my desk and ring it on my show, because the truth has a ring to it, just like that bell. Soon as you said what you do, and then you explained your why, I heard the ring of truth, and that's when I saw Mark's face, and the rest was a no-brainer. See, the law of attraction, it's what it was, it's what it is. And that's how I knew you got it. Now let me help you do something with it. And that's really why my clients are so successful. They come already with everything they need. All they needed was someone to help say, okay, put this over here. It's like we take turns figuring out the Rubik's Cube of purpose. You know, you might get the red and yellow, and you need me to do the blue and the orange. But together, we get all four sides. So that's all it boils to, because when one wins, we all win.
That's right. That's right. You are a master of connection. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. I also want to talk about your TV shows, your syndication, all this great stuff. We're going to get to that. When we come back. This is the Your Voice podcast. My very special guest is Dr. Loren Michaels Harris. I'm Rob Lane. We're streaming live on the Brave TV network. Stay tuned, my friends. So much more coming your way.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. You know, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Here we are, my friends. This is the Your Book, Your podcast. I'm your Robert A. Lane, and my very special guest is Dr. Loren Michaels Harris. We've been caught of great material, and I hope you've been taking some notes because there's some great things. Matter of fact, what was it? There's a phrase, Dr. Loren. You do the work, provide the stages.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great phrase. And speaking of stages, our first initial meeting was on one of your shows, which was bathroom moments.
Yeah.
And that was a great experience. Now you are you're founder of Trajectory TV, correct?
Yes.
And you are also 360 TV. You're an executive producer, or are you?
Yeah. Executive producer, stockholder, stakeholder, all the above, and was the first beta tester for the network, show number 1. And now we have over 300 and some shows. And 6 of us just got syndicated. 6 shows from E360. Just got 2 from Trajectory TV. And I'm so proud of this family of content creators and storytellers. And if any of you out there listening are ready for your moment in the sun, your close up, your chance to reach around the globe with your message, you really need to see me. Come to me, and you'd be shocked at how accessible it is in this day and age. And you never know what's going to happen. If you're ready, the world is ready for you.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking.
Yeah, yay!
Definitely.
I
So,
hope you're saying what I think you're saying.
hey, I'm all syndication.
I know. Seriously, you guys, this is for everybody. I just had, when I finished my last show to go on hiatus the last week of the year, and I come back on the first week of the year, so I came back on January 6th. It was just a week before Christmas when we got the call about the syndication piece, and it had been 8 years. That was that was 8 years at 5 days a week, 50 straight weeks a year. But the thing is, I wasn't watching the clock. If I didn't have to number the episodes, I would not have even known that was the amount of time that had gone by. And that's the beautiful thing about doing what you were made to do, not necessarily what you get paid to do. That's when you go to work. But when you are navigating within the work, that's what you were made for. And it feels like it just those 8 years feel like it's been 5 minutes. That's what it feels like. And it's just a wonderful thing. And I'm just going to say I didn't try for that, but I did kind of manifest it, because from day one, I would say things like, well, now that I'm in television, the only thing that remains a question is, I wonder, will my syndicated show air before Jimmy Fallon or after? And people used to laugh, but not so funny now because I'm not that far away from it. We're on the road, at least. I'm not saying I'll be next door to Jimmy Fallon, but who's to say? Who's to say? And I do the same thing with the aging process, because I spent so many decades thinking I was not going to live past 30, 40, 50. And then all of a sudden, when I hit that demarcation line known as 50, and I realized there was most likely more life behind me than was rolled out in front of me, that album got flipped to side B. Instead of playing, "Ooh, what did I do to deserve this?" all the time, I changed it to, "Ooh, what can I do to preserve this?" And that's all that mattered, getting her done. And that's why I started saying, same way like about the Jimmy Fallon thing, I want to live like Queen. I want to live not forever, but for as long as I'm supposed to get this work done. So in other words, I'm trying to be the black male Betty White. That's it. I'm trying to ride it till the wheels fall off. And because I love what I do, and I love the people, I love introducing people to other people I love. I just adore it. It just makes me so happy. And so the reason my clients are so successful, you included, is you see that thing that changed everything was that someone said they saw something in you on a Monday and that they knew that it was going to work for you. And by Friday, it had come true. That happens over and over and over in my coaching program. And not because I have some magic wand. Well, actually, I do have one. It's right here. It's real. But I don't use it unless pushed into using it. But what it is, the magic is already inside each of you. It is because we don't see ourselves like someone on the outside can. You can stand in front of the mirror. You can have, even like in the tuck shop or whatever, those three behind there and see everything. But it is still not the same as what I can tell you, because I can walk all the way around you. And that is why I say, well, I know from where you're standing, Robert, it looks like this. But the minute you told me and you meant what you said, I could not help but see who was in need of what you had. And that's what gets you there, people. That's what when you learn how to tell people what it is you do to help people. That's why my first question at every meeting when they come in, so tell me, so and so, what is it you get to do that allows you to ease suffering somewhere in this world? Go. And only one of two things will happen. And they're both winners. If a person doesn't know and they go, that's a great question. Especially, I get really excited when a person doesn't try to say any old thing. Well, I know that's, throw any old turd against the wall and hope it sticks. No, they sit there and they ponder, and they're not ashamed or embarrassed that they don't have a ready answer. You know what the beautiful part of that is? They've just started the search. They're seeking. I want to know the answer to that. And the promise says, when you seek, you will find. And then there are those who, the minute I say, ooh, I know what that is, and they can't wait. I'm so happy you asked me that. And to me, it's like it's the equivalent of when I stand on my deck and I close my eyes and I listen for the laughter of the children in the neighborhood. For me, a person whose childhood was cut short, snuffed out, just like that, hearing that is healing, And so that's why I say today, don't underestimate what it is you have that can change someone's life. Those kids have no idea when they're doing it. They're just playing and being kids. But I am inside of a sound bath of healing when I am standing there with my eyes closed, because they give me some of that life that was taken from me too soon. And we all have that. We all have some form of that for someone in the world who is missing what we have. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So for Tree TV, you mentioned that two shows that are going into syndication. What are those two shows?
Well, there's 6, but I can talk about the 2 on my network. Because out of 300 some shows, they chose 6. And mine was 1. And then Amy Joy, who is on the Trajectory Network, she has a show and also a best-selling book by the same name. Can I cuss? Or are they going to bleep it? It's Get Your SH You Know What Together. And it has a little asterisk where the I would be. Yeah. But surprisingly enough, we were worried. Well, I wasn't, because I didn't even know this was happening. But the people at my network said when they were in negotiations, they were afraid that Amy's show was going to get rejected because of the title. And they were like, no, we love it. So you see, you guys, don't just do what you know you can do and be patient. Just wait on it. Wait on it. Wait for it. Wait for it. And when you least expect it, all your dreams will come true. And the best part about it, I want to say this before we leave tonight. 2025 is the year of Jubilee. It is a real thing. Google it. It comes around every 25 or 50 years, and I have seen it. It is this year, but it is only going to find the doors of those who are expecting a miracle. Only the doors of those who are expecting something extraordinary. It is only going to find the doors of those who are willing to stick with their word and do what they said they were going to do if they ever got the chance. If I ever get the chance to do this or that, you've been heard, you've asked, and it's been answered. This is your year. So get ready, get set. It's time to go. It's time to go. This is the year.
I believe that 100%.
I know
I
you
have,
do.
have certain goals, certain things that I want to achieve. 2025 is here. It is the year. No matter how big, small, no matter how big or small those goals are, and it's not just, it's not about, only money. It's about purpose. So it really is about purpose. Doing things that fulfill me inside, but that can also fulfill us. Again, if you're able to touch one soul with something, whether it's through music or speaking or audiobook coding, whatever it is, if I'm able to help one person, have them feel fantastic, transformed or inspired, whatever word you want to use, and that makes me feel so incredibly ecstatic inside. That's the reward. That's the reward.
It is. I'm so glad to hear you say that. Do you realize how far you've come in such a short time, Robert? No,
this
seriously.
is my coach speaking now.
It's true. I'm sitting here and I'm going, oh my God, look at Robert A. Lane. Because now it's become so consistent in your life that it just, I know this sounds kind of creepy and weird and stuff, but I mean it. When you get to the place in your journey, when you see things like this happen, Robert, I know this sounds odd, but it's true. You see things like this and you go, I could die anytime and I would be fulfilled. Because when you see these things, you see these markers, you see this progress, you know how it happened. And you cannot help but say, wow, what a world we live in. What a gift this life is. So, you guys, this year, anything that shows up in your life as a challenge, I want you to look at it like a container. Look at it and say, why are you showing up now? What blessing are you bringing me? What gift is contained within you somewhere that I must find? And look at it like that. Every single thing that you experience is happening for you, not to you. It is happening because it must, in order for you to be who you were chosen to be. Greatness is available. And bone up on your miracles and parables and remember who those people were that were used. Anything in there sound or feel familiar to your own journey? All that trauma, all those different things that hurt and no one could ever understand? Don't be so sure. Take it to the world. Offer it to the world. And watch what happens.
That's right.
This is the
I'm going to do that. There you go.
It is. I'm so excited. All of you, this belongs to all of you. And if you don't believe me, get on a call with me. You will. Before we're done, you'll believe Robert, will they not?
Absolutely. I could attest to that 100%. Somebody wants to get in touch with you, Dr. Loren, what's the best way?
Send a round trip ticket to Hawaii to 1695 Smoky Court. I'm just kidding. The best way would be to hit me up on any social, Loren Harris or Loren Michaels Harris. Loren Michaels Harris at gmail.com. LorenMichaelsHarris at gmail.com. Send me an email and just tell me what's on your mind. Speak from your heart. And I'll send you my link. And we'll get on a call and see why we were brought together.
All right. And people also go to your website at LorenMichaelsHarris.com.
LorenMichaelsHarris.com. You can put a little thing, hey, how you doing in there? All my social is the same. Loren Michaels Harris and Loren Harris.
Perfect. Love it. We're just about out of time. Doctor, thank you so much for being a guest, your insight, sharing your story. I find it very inspirational. I'm sure the audience will definitely find it inspirational as well. And I hope people get in touch with you because they should. They should.
If it's meant to be, it will be.
It's meant to be. I'd say it's meant to be. So my last assignment for everyone out there is when you're out and about in the world, my friends, smile at a stranger.
Oh.
Say hello to them, give a compliment. That all 5 or 10 seconds of time that it takes you to do that can be a life changer for somebody who may be going through something that you don't even understand. That could be the best thing that has happened to them in their life. So be a life changer. And with that, we're going to wrap things up here on our Book Your Voice podcast. I'm Robert A. Lane. I give you Dr. Loren Michaels Harris for being such a fantastic guest. We'll be talking to you soon. We're streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. We'll see you next week, my friends. Take care.
This has been Your Book, Your Voice with host Robert A. Lane. Tune in each week for another powerful and informative episode of Your Book, Your Voice, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network.